Clapperboard Thor, 2011, Detailed Plot Summary. 1. Introduction to Asgard and the Gods. The film begins with a narration about the history between Asgard and Jotunheim. Thousands of years ago, Odin, the king of Asgard, defeated the frost giants led by King Laufey to prevent them from invading the Nine Realms. After the victory, Odin took the Casket of Ancient Winters, a powerful artifact of Jotunheim, and kept it safe in Asgard. 2. Thor's arrogance and exile. Thor, Chris Hemsworth, Odin's eldest son, is a mighty warrior but also very arrogant. On the day Thor is to be crowned king, the frost giants secretly infiltrate Asgard to reclaim the casket but fail. Despite Odin wanting to resolve the issue peacefully, Thor, along with his adoptive brother Loki, Sif, and the warriors Fandral, Hogun, and Volstagg, defy Odin's orders and travel to Jotunheim to retaliate. Backhand index pointing right consequences. Thor's actions almost lead to war with Jotunheim. Odin, angered, strips Thor of his powers, exiles him to Earth, and seals Mjolnir, Thor's enchanted hammer, so that only someone worthy can lift it. 3. Thor on Earth. Thor crashes in the desert of New Mexico, where he is discovered by Jane Foster, Natalie Portman, Eric Selvig, and Darcy Lewis. Jane is an astrophysicist studying strange cosmic events. Thor is shocked by his loss of powers and is now a mere mortal. He tries to find Mjolnir but cannot lift it, as he is not yet worthy. Loki's plot. Meanwhile, Loki, Tom Hiddleston, discovers the truth that he is not Odin's biological son but the son of Laufey, taken from Jotunheim after the war. Backhand index pointing right. Loki's plot for the throne. After Odin enters the Odin sleep, a healing slumber, Loki seizes control of Asgard. Loki secretly conspires with Laufey to kill Odin, but in reality, he plans to betray Laufey and destroy him, intending to appear as a hero in Asgard. 5. Thor learns humility. During his time on Earth, Thor gradually changes thanks to Jane and her team. He begins to understand the value of humility, compassion, and self-sacrifice. When the Destroyer, a giant weapon controlled by Loki, is sent to Earth to kill Thor, Thor is willing to sacrifice himself to protect innocent lives. This self-sacrifice proves his worthiness, and Mjolnir returns to him, restoring his divine powers. 6. Final battle and conclusion. Thor returns to Asgard to stop Loki from destroying the Bifrost Bridge, the portal connecting the Nine Realms. Backhand index pointing right. The battle between the brothers. Thor and Loki face off in an intense battle. In order to prevent Loki from destroying Jotunheim, Thor must destroy the Bifrost, severing all connections between Asgard and the other realms. Loki falls into the abyss of space after Odin refuses to accept his actions. 7. Open ending. Thor accepts that he cannot return to Earth to be with Jane because the Bifrost has been destroyed. Meanwhile, Jane continues her research to find a way to reconnect with Asgard. After credit. Nick Fury meets Eric Selvig and reveals the Tesseract, the Space Stone, setting up events for The Avengers. High voltage main message. Thor learns a lesson in humility, self-sacrifice, and becomes a true hero. Loki starts his path of corruption, laying the groundwork for future conflicts in the MCU. Clapperboard Thor, The Dark World, 2013, Detailed Plot Summary. 1. Introduction to Aether and the Ancient War. The film begins with the ancient war between the gods of Asgard and the Dark Elves. The Dark Elves, led by Malekith, Christopher Eccleston, attempted to use a destructive power known as Aether, one of the Infinity Stones, to plunge the universe into darkness. However, after being defeated and imprisoned, Malekith was left in hiding, and Aether was concealed in a vault in Asgard to prevent its misuse. 2. Thor's return to Asgard and life after the battle. The story takes place after the events of The Avengers, 2012. Asgard is at peace, but Thor, Chris Hemsworth, still faces inner turmoil, especially after his brother Loki, Tom Hiddleston, was imprisoned for betraying Asgard and causing destruction in The Avengers. Thor is trying to maintain peace among the realms while preparing for the next conflict. 3. Jane Foster and Aether. Jane Foster, Natalie Portman, an astrophysicist, has not forgotten Thor and continues to research strange cosmic phenomena on Earth. She accidentally discovers Aether, which enters her body, making her its host. When Thor finds out that Jane is in danger, he decides to return to Earth to rescue her. 4. Malekith awakens and his plot for revenge. Malekith, after being imprisoned for centuries, awakens and seeks to reclaim Aether. He teams up with the remaining Dark Elves and prepares to carry out his plan to destroy the universe. Malekith's plot is to use Aether to recreate the chaos he once brought, with the goal of casting the entire universe into eternal darkness. He seeks to take Jane Foster because she is the only host capable of wielding Aether. 5. The rescue of Jane and the confrontation with Malekith. Thor brings Jane back to Asgard, where they are protected by King Odin, Anthony Hopkins. However, Malekith attacks Asgard, leading to massive destruction in the city. During the battle, Loki, though imprisoned, decides to team up with Thor to fight Malekith. However, Loki has his own agenda. He pretends to help Thor, but in reality, Loki plans to use the situation to seize control of Asgard for himself. After the death of his mother, Frigga, Loki changes his mind, choosing to sacrifice himself to help Thor defeat Malekith. 6th, Battle in the Cosmos and Sacrifice. In the final battle, Thor and Malekith face off in an intense fight across multiple realities. Thor uses the power of Mjolnir, his enchanted hammer, to battle Malekith, while Loki, after sacrificing himself, helps Thor defeat the enemy. Thor decides to destroy Aether to prevent it from falling into the hands of Malekith and the Dark Elves, and after the battle, the universe slowly returns to peace. 7. Conclusion and shifting events. After Loki's supposed death, Thor returns to Asgard and refuses the throne, deciding instead to return to Earth to find Jane. After credit scene. After credit scene, the Dark Elves' world has been destroyed, and Aether is handed over to Tannelir Tyvan, also known as the Collector, Benicio del Toro, who will keep Aether safe in the universe. High voltage main message. Thor, the Dark World is about sacrifice, loyalty, and the love between Thor and Jane Foster. The film also explores Loki's character development, transitioning from a villain to a hero in the end. The events in the film set up the introduction of the Infinity Stone, Aether, in future MCU films. Clapperboard Thor, Love and Thunder 2022 Detailed Plot Summary 1. Introduction to Gorr the God Butcher. The film begins with the story of Gorr Christian Bale, a father who loves his daughter deeply. They live in a barren, starving world. Gorr prays to the gods to save his daughter, but all the gods ignore his pleas. When his daughter dies, Gorr falls into despair and unexpectedly discovers a dead god named Ego, the living planet who possesses a powerful weapon, the Necrosword. This weapon transforms Gorr into the God Butcher, a dark entity with the goal of exterminating all gods across the universe. 2 Thor after Avengers Endgame. After the events of Avengers Endgame, Thor Chris Hemsworth is on a journey of self-discovery. He joins the Guardians of the Galaxy in battles, but seems to have no clear purpose, just searching for peace and meaning in life. However, he feels empty and has not fully recovered from the losses he suffered in the past 3T. Jane Foster returns. Jane Foster, Natalie Portman, Thor's ex-girlfriend, is battling terminal cancer. While fighting her illness, Jane unexpectedly receives Mjolnir, Thor's enchanted hammer, when it returns to her, transforming her into mighty Thor. Mjolnir not only grants her godlike powers but also makes her a hero, despite her ongoing fight with cancer. Forts of Gorr attacks on the adventure of Thor. Jane and friends. Gorr begins his quest to kill all gods, including attacking the gods in New Asgard. When Gorr attacks New Asgard, Thor and Jane team up to protect the kingdom and its people. They are joined by Valkyrie Tessa Thompson, the new queen of New Asgard, and Korg Tika White-Dine, Thor's companion. 5. The fight against Gorr. Gorr kidnaps the children of New Asgard and takes them to a place known as the Shadow Realm, where he plans to use a mystical power to kill all gods. Thor, Jane, Valkyrie and Korg follow Gorr into the Shadow Realm to rescue the children and stop his plans. In the final confrontation, Thor and Jane unite to fight Gorr and prevent him from using the Necrosword to destroy the gods. However, as the battle nears its end, Jane realizes that her cancer is advancing and she can no longer continue fighting. 6. Jane's sacrifice and the conclusion. In the final moments, Jane Foster, despite being weak, decides to use Mjolnir to help Thor and defeat Gorr. However, she cannot survive after the battle and dies in Thor's arms before passing away. Jane proves her heroism and shows that she has overcome her illness, becoming mighty Thor in the true sense. In the end, Gorr, realizing the love and sacrifice Jane made, acknowledges that what he truly wanted was a life full of love and without hatred. He uses the power of the Necrosword to resurrect his daughter and abandons his goal of destroying the gods. Gorr prays for his daughter and vanishes in light. 7. Open ending. Thor decides to adopt Gorr's resurrected daughter, who is named Love. Thor becomes her new father, starting a new journey filled with meaning and love. After credit. Scene 1. Zeus Russell Crowe appears, feeling ashamed of being defeated by Thor and the gods in Thor Love and Thunder. He plans to assemble a group of gods to seek revenge on Thor. After credit. Scene 2. Jane Foster is welcomed into Valhalla, where she is honored as a hero who died in battle. High voltage main message. Thor Love and Thunder is a story about sacrifice, love, and the search for purpose in life. The film also explores themes of the love between Thor and Jane facing death and realizing the true value of the things that really matter in life.